Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and basically what I like to do is kind of give you, without going through an example, just kind of go through the steps for solving a proportion. And there's basically kind of two ways that I look into solving a proportion. One way is kind of determining your LCM and then multiplying both sides by the LCM or LCD. And the other side is you applying cross multiplication. Now you could say, well, cross multiplication, that looks easier and simpler. And yes, a lot of times cross multiplication is going to be the easier method for solving a proportion. But sometimes I think determining the LCM or LCD and solving it this way not only gives you a better understanding, but sometimes is just as easy as solving using cross multiplication. However, there are some times that I would definitely prefer using cross multiplication rather than using my multiplying by LCM. But basically the processes are very similar to the same. All you're really going to do is when we're looking at a proportion, a fraction equal to another fraction, you want to look at their denominators and say, what is the smallest multiple that both of my denominators divide into? That is our LCM or LCD. LCM, least common multiple. LCD is least common denominator. Okay. Then what we do is we multiply the whole equation, which is very important. You got to make sure you multiply the left side and the right side by that number. When you do that, you're going to simplify it. You're going to simplify. And then I wrote simplify as like a step, but basically it kind of incorporates a lot of things. Not only are you simplifying by applying the operation, but you also need to simplify by combining like terms and getting your variable to the same side. Once you have your variable to the same side and you combine like terms and apply the operations, then you can simply solve, which would be, again, you solving like a two-step equation. Cross multiplication, what's nice about cross multiplication is you can kind of put your brain on autopilot when looking at a proportion. Simply, when you have a proportion, a fraction equal to a fraction, you just circle the cross products and then multiply them. Once you multiply them, make sure if you have expressions times like a variable that you apply your distributive property. So you multiply them by applying distributive property. That's going to be part of your simplifying, right? Apply distributive property, combine like terms, and get your variable to the same side if you have variables on both sides, or combine the variables so you get one. So therefore, once you can combine your variables, then you can go ahead and solve. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you solve a proportion, and those are your steps for solving a proportion. Thanks.